My name is Jessica Rogers. My business name is A Sense of Wonder Studio, and you can find me both at the Shirt Factory in Glens Falls or online. So whatever works, you can go to asenseofwonderstudio.com and go to the store and do your shopping there. This is where I make everything that I sell. And most of what I sell is fabric-based, so this is essentially my sewing room. I'm also a bit of a quilter. There's something infused in old things that is very special. There's something about the people that interacted with them, the time they came from, the places they've been, especially cameras. Because cameras have also worked to capture really, really important and maybe not so important moments. I follow my heart, I find something that I love that speaks to me, and I spend some time with it. I tend to work with one subject at a time and will spend 30 minutes to an hour or more sometimes with just the one subject until I feel like I've got that thing that drew me to it in the first place. I learned about putting images on fabric when I got into quilting. There was a way to do it yourself, sheet by sheet, so letter size piece of paperback fabric that you could run through your printer, but it required a lot of processing on my end. That was the beauty of starting to work with spoon flowers, that I could take an image and create it with them in different sizes and then turn it into all of these things. I can just resize my image based on the kind of thing I want to make. This is the size I would use for tote bags, and I can show you how I do the stitching on the tote bags in a minute. But if I'm just going to do a pillow with one main image, this would be the size I would use. This one's going to be a pocket, and I top stitch along this edge before I attach it to the bag. All of these fabric items are highly washable. It's a nice heavyweight, super durable bag. They hold up so well over multiple washes. I iron them and I put in the grommets and the handles. My clutches have a little clip on them. You can tuck it right inside and put all of your goodies from the farmer's market right in there. Coasters I wanted to be absorbent for your sweaty summertime drinks. They're a little bit stitched, so just for a little detailing, I kind of like that. It reinforces that it's fabric. Some people ask if it's leather, but no, it's cotton. I do some nice heavy interfacing to give it some sturdiness, but also absorbency. Right now, I am available for curbside pickup, so I love that I have that easy to find place in town so people can shop online and schedule a curbside pickup. During the checkout process online, it's pretty easy. You pick your time, and then I meet you there. I am on Instagram, and I've been kind of reviving my Pinterest a bit. So if you want to see a little bit more of my behind the scenes, I do that on Instagram. I've had some pretty memorable moments with some customers, but some of my favorites are just someone's walking by my store door or my booth, and they just stop and go, "Oh, that to me, that's the best compliment ever." I love that. To see that depth of connection is really, really one of the best compliments ever. Well, high five. Good girl.
My name is Larry Gagne Jr. I run Adirondack Catching in Glens Falls, New York. Well, I'm located in the old shirt factory in Glens Falls. The address is 21 Cooper Street, Suite G01. This is our lineup of products that we have all together. Lots of barware. The insulated tumblers come in a huge variety of colors and sizes. The water bottles are new. These are great. Amazing 32 ounces. Background in woodworking. I did a lot of wood turning, and one of the projects I was working on for gifts was required sandblaster. after I opened up this shop and I had a couple of lakes, people started asking me to do their lake. Whether they lived there, they camped there as a kid, their grandfather took them fishing. There's an emotional attachment to lakes. Lower Saranac, a lot of detail, but the laser etching process lets me get that detail. The actual engraving can get down to pretty small, like 1 millimeter. Laser etching is applying heat to the glass. It's a very shallow engraving, but it uses heat to essentially explode the little air molecules that exist in the glass. I have the computer hooked up to it, and I pick the design I want, and I do all the settings, and then I shoot it to the machine. And each glass is different. Pint glasses are sturdy and they're thick. You can really etch a lot higher power, where the stemless and the stemmed wine glasses are really thin. You got to be careful. The ornaments are new this year. So not only can the laser engrave glass, but it can cut through organic material like wood. It'll leave a very small curve, about 1/2 millimeter. So we can do lots of nice details, like this hiker. The walking stick, we sand that a little bit, and it'll be nice and white. But that is super thin. This is an order, so it's 3 layers. So here we're looking at 4th lake. And so we'll paint that. And then the classic Adirondack chairs. And then it lays over like that. My wood turning came in handy with that. I understand that some wood is softer, some wood is harder. Some wood tends to burn more. Some of it's so dense that it doesn't really cut well. With the powder coated stuff, it's actually just removing the powder coating and leaving the stainless steel underneath. So everything etches to a silk. Currently I offer curbside pickup, where you pull into the Cooper Street parking lot and call or text me, add stuff to your cart, and if your zip code is local, it'll automatically give you the option to do that. Browsing online to see what's available, and then emailing is quite easy. AdirondackCatching.com. I do appointments with wholesale customers. I really kind of specialize in lower minimums and fast turnaround. A lot of the stores in the park, I understand, they're not big. They don't have huge storerooms. They can't buy an entire season's worth of glassware. There's always a challenge. There's always something new, but that's what keeps me going. I've found my identity, and it's really kind of all about the Adirondack Park and the things that are in it and the things that people love to do in it.
I'm Arthur Beard. Business name would be Artberry Pottery in Holland, New York. I got involved with Pottery Northwest, which is a cooperative pottery, still operating, and worked there for 2 years, using all their equipment and gleaning all the information I can from all the other potters that were there. And I got an incredibly broad base of knowledge. When I'm making things, I'll make a whole series of the same item. Just dried clay is very fragile, and it absorbs the water and will turn right back to mud. has to be absolutely dry, and it goes into an electric kiln to do the bisque firing. Bisque. This is bisqueware. See, it's hard. It won't break down in water. This pot has glaze on it. Now, this will go into the kiln like so. It's a downdraft gas-fired kiln. 4 burners, 2 on each side. Where the glaze firing, we go up to 2,300 degrees, which is almost a white light. I prescribe to the theory that to be a complete potter, complete ceramic artist, you need to know every step of the way. You need how to make clay, how to make glazes, how to create objects out of clay, and how to fire them. The shape forms of my work is probably more influenced by the Japanese. Kaki, this brown glaze, is a Japanese recipe. You can't buy it, but you can mix your own. And mixing my own glazes, well, any real studio potter does that. Mixing your own clay gives me the clay bodies that I want. My bark eater collection.
I love that.
Bark eater is the name, the Iroquois. That's what the name Adirondack means, bark eater. And I made the original, and then I made molds from them. And then the frames I make are pine frames with birch twigs as details. Over the years, I've sold all over the country, shops all over the country. Well, I started doing wholesaling because you don't have to do so much traveling. And right now, I advertise I'm by chance or appointment. If you want to come and want to make sure somebody's here, give me a call. What better way?
My name is Cynthia Beard. My business is Cynthia Beard Handwoven Textiles. An amusing question I often get when people find out I'm a weaver, they think I live on a huge farm and have hundreds of sheep and I'm shearing and spinning and dyeing. Before the yarn even gets on the loom, there's a whole process of thinking through the design, working out the design on graph paper often, choosing the colors. I then measure out on a warp board. This is both a measuring and an organizing device. The warp are the lengthwise threads. You start out with cones of yarn. There's some of my yarns there. This is a shuttle. I've got a wool and tencel blend. Tencel is a natural fiber. It's made from cellulose, so it's very much like rayon, which is made from wood pulp. So I operate with my feet and with my hands. Most people know about under-over. This is plain weave, it's just under-over. There's many different kinds of weave structures that are a lot more complicated, diagonal weaves. Having consistent tension is really key in weaving. Being out in nature, in the natural world, being just in our yard here, or walking in the woods with the dogs, or canoeing, or skiing in the winter, I'm always surrounded by different textures and colors, no matter what the time of year it is. This one is woodland. It's very autumn, I think, with the dark greens and the warm colors. And it's lakeside with nice watery blues and greens. This is driftwood, some luscious neutrals. This one I call garnet, reds and some other accent colors. I have examples of all the different kinds of work that I do, the household textiles, placemats, runners, towels. My major pieces, like the shawls and the ponchos, most of them are one of a kind. And I have here is a wool poncho. I do use cotton in the warp, which gives it it won't be so heavy to wear, and it gives a little more strength because wool can be a little stretchy. So I have a collection of scarves here, little plaids, and a couple of my pencil stripes. I love working with variegated yarns. It's called space dye, which I think is the funniest thing. And I also think because I feel like I belong here, it gives me a kind of base or platform that it allows me to be more creative, happier in my life, because I really feel I was meant to be here and do what I'm doing. We like to say, if we're home, we're open.
My name is Connie Snyder. Lilac Hill is the name of where my studio is located, which happens to be in my home. We are between New Paltz and Kingston, New York. I have always liked to do things with my hands. I was on Pinterest and saw different things, and I saw these birdseed wreaths, and I said, I'm going to just make some of those for fun, just for the heck of it. I'm going to post them on Etsy and see what happens. All of a sudden, they started selling like mad, and I figured out nice ways to package them. I learned to sew from my godmother, who lived down the street from me. My other grandmother worked in the knitting mills in Kingston, so it's in my blood. Crossbody bags were really starting to be popular, and I said, I'm going to design a crossbody garden bag. So then I picked out a selection of different colors that I thought would go right and threw them up on Etsy, and they started to sell. I did a lot of research and started to do a line of shea butter, hand butters. That's where the natural skincare had come alive. Upcycle thing is big with me. I try to upcycle as much as I can. It's taking something from one form and turning it into something new that can be used again and giving it a new life. And that is how I landed on my wool products. This is how they start out. These are 3 that I found. I found the green one, and then I said, oh wow, look at this. This maroon one picks up the color of the maroon in this. So these 3 will go together. Color has always been my specialty, even when I was a graphic designer. So this is a way for me to really leverage that love of color and the richness of color and the subtleties of color. This is actually a men's shirt, and that's how I line only the tote bag, so that it's almost a complete suit. You have the wools of the jackets or pants, and then a men's shirt, and then the straps are men's pants. With this tote bag I'm working on, I'm using the breast pocket in the tote bags. The garden bag's cousin is called the Easy Casual bag, and it has a zipper on top. Same exact design with all the little pockets, but a zipper on top. This one, I was able to use the inside suit pocket as the pocket in the jacket. And on the outsides of these bags, I always integrate the pocket of the suit. These are upcycled purse straps. Happened to come across some navy blue bags, and I said, I know I have some navy blue wools, so I just want the straps. This is the double glass case. It has a divider in it, so you can put a pair of glasses, pair of sunglasses, pair of cheaters. The keepsake memorials come because I know that when a person dies, you're left with a closet full of clothes. I can take those coats, pants, skirts, doesn't matter, man or woman, and turn them into gifts that the whole family can enjoy. They can find my products on my website, lilac-hill-designs.com. Find the products that you want. Retail-wise, you can order them through my site. Wholesale-wise, they can see what products are there. Send me an email, and I will send you a catalog of which products I wholesale and the price list that goes along with that. There's a spot that they can click on, sign up for our email list. Anybody who has wool clothes know that they last forever. This is a bag that is going to last a long time. It's not going to wear out. You know, as long as the moths don't get it, you're good.
Barbara Jeffs, and my business is Native Farm Flowers, and I'm at 90 Wing Road, just outside of Saratoga in Greenfield Center. We always gardened, and it was kind of one of my tasks. I grew up in a suburb. I went to art school, and then I traveled. That's what you did. And then when I came back, I had no intention of going back to inside. I took 3 years of holistic management training for women farmers. It was a program by the USDA. This is how we start. I mean, we seed stuff. This is all things, you know, because it's September, this is all stuff that I'm able to plant in the ground or in one of the tunnels that has some extra protection. And this is going to be my fall, winter, through the holiday class space. We tend, we cut, then we take them up to the barn to be conditioned. We harvest our flowers, which this year or any year, we bring them up here, we process them. I have a giant cooler, so I can condition the flowers, tend them the proper way after we pick them. You know, I grow my flowers for the people I'm serving. Very unusual things, Lisianthus, a common flower in a high-end bouquet. These are now coming in the fall. These are dahlias. Celosia. Wonderful hydrangeas, you know, picked properly. When we're doing arrangements as we were today and just wanted a little something extra, we can just go in our field and find some. This is the drying shop. I have a like a flagpole that goes up and down where I can hoist it back up, you know, put what I want on it, and then I've got, you know, a nice system to keep it dried up above, you know, with the fan, and I keep temperature controlled. And then the other thing that I learned to make over a number of years are scarves, which are echo printed. All of the color, everything is done from leaves and flowers. And actually, this pink is a beetle shell.
What are the best places for people to find your products?
Here on my farm. Right now, they're Wednesday through Friday from 11 to 5. Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 4. But that's what it is for now, and it'll be posted Instagram and Facebook. Working on a web store, but not there yet. So this lovely vehicle was my flower cart when I did the farmers markets. It's the back of an old pickup truck that basically we made into a covered wagon. And when I take it down the road, there's a side that goes on here. And then this table flips up, and it's just pulled by my car. We do, these are called hypertuplanus, so they're like an artificial stone. We dry things, so we'll sell dried bouquets. These are called kokedama balls. It's a Japanese art garden form where basically you're taking moss, you're putting your plant inside, and it grows. You can hang it, or we give them with a little pot. We never stop thinking of stuff to do. The statement I made in 2010 is exactly what I'm doing, because it also had that my farm would be a place where people could come and would sustain me. So it was pretty cool to read that.
My name is Lynn. My name is Jennifer, and we own Peak Quest together, and we live in Saranac Lake, New York. We were doing a lot of hiking together, as we have been for many, many years. We were writing our hikes down in the backs of notebooks and hiking books. We really just wanted to come up with a super fun and more efficient way to keep track of our hiking challenge progress.
And we just hiked Whiteface. I'm going to find Whiteface on this card, and I'm just going to scratch the top.
It was kind of for ourselves in the beginning, and then it kind of caught on.
And then you turn it over, and on the back, I'll just record Whiteface and the date I hiked it.
So we design our scratch-offs ourselves. We do drawings and choose all of the Pantone colors ourselves.
Jennifer's an art teacher, so that helps. We always say, what do you picture for this card? What colors do you picture for this card?
We scan our artwork and we send it to our printer, which is in Ohio. They vectorize our drawings and they print them right in Ohio for us, so they're made in the USA.
The two big ones, the 46 and the 48, are for really avid hikers, I would say. And then we came up with a couple other ones, a trifecta, which is a smaller type of challenge that could be for anybody. And then we thought, how do we get the kids involved? How do we help parents find a way to get their kids enjoying the outdoors? So that's why we started with the Peak Quest Explorer, which has like 25 activities and different things for kids to do in the outdoors and nature.
Some of the things that are included in the kids kit are the pedometer, the magnifying glass, a happiness journal, crayons, and some other art supplies that people may not have at home.
We actually went out of the 46 peaks for quite a while and have found the most amazing, amazing hikes. And that led to this card, Fabulous 40, because these are 40 hikes that all have a beautiful view or a waterfall at the end. And there's more to the Adirondacks than just what everybody knows.
We are Leave No Trace community partners, and with every order here within the Adirondack Park, every order that we ship out, we include a Leave No Trace reference tag, and it features the 7 principles of Leave No Trace. So we're trying to educate people before they get here, before they come here to go hiking.
We get orders from as far as Florida, out west, all over the country. It's amazing the reach that this hiking challenge has. We really try to make a connection with our retailers.
Every day we get a review,
that's my
a glorious review. We get so excited when we hear stories about how people bought it as an anniversary gift and then their spouse cried when they got it.
Because they were so excited.
We love that we're making things that people are excited about, things that are motivating to them to get outside and enjoy the outdoors. We've been hiking here for, 12 years together, probably. I became a 46er this summer. So we really, really understand and have a deep connection with the 46er journey.
Gorgeous day.
What a great day. It was great.
Beautiful.
My name is Adam Cresco McCarthy, and I am the owner of Roosevelt Grooming Company. Roosevelt Grooming Company is based in just outside of Albany in the Heldsburg Mountains, which is where we are right now. Somebody gave me a straight razor from the 1940s, I think it was, with a broken handle. So I was like, well, I can make a handle. I know how to do woodworking, so I just made a handle. So I would show it to people, and they'd be like, oh, that's so good. Why don't you sell something like that? So I was like, oh, I can do that. So I restored another one and just put it online, and that one sold. And then I just kept buying more and more, because once you start making something that's fun and interesting to make, it's hard to stop. The blades last forever. I mean, they're high quality steel and they just last and last and last. But the handles on these old straight razors are just cheap plastic. I was just selling straight razors, and then people were asking me for brushes. They're like, well, you have straight razors, do you have brushes? So I was like, yeah, I can make brushes, no problem. So I started making brushes, and then people are asking for shaving cream or shaving soap to go with the brushes, and I was like, yeah, I can make that too. So every time somebody asks me if I can make something, I'm like, yeah, of course I can make that, and I always do. I always thought it was interesting that Teddy Roosevelt had the barber's hour. So he really appreciated the process of shaving. Like, he took the time, and spoke with the press during that. I've got some woods here that I'm drying, that I just kind of harvested from our own woods around here. So that was the burl that you saw inside, came from here. So burl is it's a growth that happens on a tree. Usually they're boarded branches. So it's got to look at the figure here. I mean, it's just like, can you picture a razor made out of this piece right here? Some of these are pieces of burl, and sometimes I just look at that and I cut into it and I look at the texture of it. I'm like, well, what's that gonna turn into if I decide to make a razor or make a brush or make something out of it? A burl will grow, like the grains just grow in all different directions. The patterns in the wood are completely different. Can you see the little, there's like circles in there, and like the grain goes in all different directions. So it is kind of the material first, but a lot of it's just experimental. Like the Lichtenberg figures, these ones, I just love creating them in different types of woods to see what they become. I'll, sand them and polish them up and then assemble them. I'm like really into working with spalted wood right now. What it is a fungus, in this case, starts growing into the wood, and as it eats away and rots the wood, it changes the color. There's a process to get something like this into, usable wood. So I cut it down, I, sand it up, and I use a wood hardener to harden it up. And here is a finished product where I used the end grain of the spalted wood, so it's a bit darker. I wanted something that was a bit darker to contrast the other woods that I used in this. I'm on Etsy. I also have RooseveltGroomingCompany.com. So I have my own website. Honest Wheat Food Co-op in Albany sells my stuff. Pinterest, Facebook, of course, and Instagram. I use the vegan products the vegan ingredients in my products just because they're better. They're better for the environment. They work better in a lot of cases. Like I use Candelia wax instead of beeswax for my mustache wax. It's just got a much better texture. So beeswax, is cheaper, but I don't go for the cheaper thing. I go for the better thing. Every product that I sell was inspired by somewhere in New York State. I've got a product called Adirondack. It's my best-selling scent. I wanted to capture being in deep dark wood. So it's cedar wood and pine based. One of the questions you had on the sheet was what I like about being a maker, and I think it's being able to look at the worlds in a different way. You can see something that for most people would just look like a rotten piece of wood on the ground, and know that you can turn it into something beautiful and useful.
I am Julie Webster, and it's the mustard seed, and we are here in Burke Park in Little Falls, New York.
We're standing under the trees in the park on the green, Doesn't matter if 3 people come or 300 people come. We're happy.
For fun, my mom saw an article in Victoria magazine when I was a junior in high school, and she said, hey, you want to start an herb shop? And so we did, in Ilion, New York. It was in a little carriage house. It was behind the house, the garage, and the maximum occupancy was 3 people, including my mom and I. So we do loose teas and spice blends and dip mixes and those sorts of food things, and then we do the body products and room sprays and all that kind of stuff. Here, Local Fresh Thursdays, the idea was that you make it, bake it, or grow it. And we are also able to take things from other local farmers that we might be friends or in cahoots with, or we do a lot of bartering and fun things. So actually the farmer that I get to have the raspberries from is in Herkimer, that's where I live. And we have a wonderful barter deal right now. I sell things for her, and then I go pick berries to make my jam. We have an Ag Markets license to do our spice blends. We do a dip mixes is kind of our claim to fame. Most of them have no salt. We tried to keep them salt and preservative free. A few of them do if they're meant for meat, like we do a salt free and a regular taco seasoning. This is a warming bag you can put in the microwave. So it has, or the freezer, but it has rice and flaxseed and then lavender flowers in there. At the moment, Facebook is kind of everything for us. Very easy to send a message, or our phone number is on there. We're working on our website and our Etsy sites and that sort of thing. Because we do in-house printing and we're such small scale, when my mom and I started wholesaling, we had a very tiny shop. So we wanted to keep our minimum super low. There's actually no minimum. And we'll give you a free tester with 6 bottles kind of thing. But to be able to make 1 bottle at a time, we've actually made for retail, for people like for weddings and things, an outdoor wedding, we've done a herbal bug repellent with a name and how cute. But then the business-wise, so that you can have 3 bottles on the shelf, you only have $100 at a time to spend kind of thing. Micro matters, I don't know, it's close to my heart, I suppose. Because you might be overlooked in the whole small business category. We appreciate the shopping small, the shop small movement, and the micro matters in general. That it means more than you would ever know to support that little guy, the little families, and the behind the scenes.